Finally, Europe is back. Scottish clubs once again are playing in Europe. Kilmarnock were the first team to step up, and by God, were they counted tonight. They did the country proud. They picked up some coefficient points, and they picked up a draw that will give them a real chance of going through into the next round of the Europa League. Welcome back, guys, to Son of Scotland TV here for the match review, which was Kilmarnock 1, Cercle Bruges 1. Now, I expected Kilmarnock to put up a good fight. I thought, okay, tough opposition, but Kilmarnock were very good last season. Derek McInnes is a good manager. Experienced manager, he's been here before, he will get a good result, he will put in a good performance, but I didn't quite see this sort of performance. Now, I was predicting a draw coming into this game with maybe Kilmarnock nicking it, but I could have definitely seen the other possibility, which would have been Cercle Bruges nicking it. So for me, it was a 50-50 game that could have went either way, but in the end, it really should have only went one way, and that was the way of Killie. So we start with the first half. Killie get a penalty, or at least we think they've got a penalty. Now, I do believe it's a foul, however, the ball did go out of play, so unfortunately, not given. The linesman, he thought the ball was out. We had to look at VAR, and it was out, but there wasn't much in it. But regardless, it's no penalty. Ball went out of play. Goal kick for Club Bruges, and that was a big chance for Kilmarnock to get a penalty and take a lead within the first couple of minutes. Didn't happen, so be it. First half then played out, and not a lot was happening, to be honest. It was pretty quiet, so we're thinking, okay, Kilmarnock are right in this. They didn't have any real opportunities, but they kept Cercle Bruges pretty quiet as well. And with a couple of balls into the box, and we weren't a million miles away from creating some really good opportunities, but we didn't get that. So it went 0-0 at the break. I thought that was probably the fair result. Kilmarnock edged it a little bit in my opinion, but I mean, nothing spectacular, okay? There wasn't too much in it, and there was no real... I mean, McCrory made one decent save. McCrory had a good save from a header, but it was sort of straight at him, so it's a save that's decent, but at the same time, if he doesn't make it, then, you're throwing him under the bus. And that was McCrory's first real meaningful save as a Kilmarnock player. So, I mean, it was decent from him. We get into the second half, and Killie didn't start well at all. First 10 minutes, it was all Cercle Bruges. Not that they were great, but they just looked the more threatening team. They looked the more dominant team. They were getting forward. They were getting into decent areas. They then get the goal through Oleble, who, I mean, he takes the ball. He's got a quick turn about him. He creates some space. A great finish into the back of the net. And, apparently this guy was on loan at Ross County. I mean, he looks like he's too good for Ross County. And this finish was special. It was a good goal from Oleble, so fair play. He put Cercle Bruges 1-0 up, and at this point you're thinking, right, okay, Killie have not started the second half well. They're now trailing by 1-0. This tie could get away from them, but got to give credit to the Kilmarnock players here and Derek McInnes, because from this moment onwards, they turned the game around. They got on the front foot. They began to dominate. They began to create chances. They were the only team creating chances, and they got back into it. First of all, though, they scored another goal. This time, the ball deemed to go out of play again via an in-swinging corner. So, Kilmarnock, I mean, we're talking small margins here. Could have had a goal. Could have had a penalty, but we're talking the ball literally just crossing the goal line. So Killie a little bit unlucky here to be denied twice, but you're thinking that there's more to come here. They're looking threatening. If they keep this up, they can maybe, still get something out of this game. Then we get the long throw in. It was Danny Armstrong throws it in towards Fussell. Fussell heads it on. Now, originally I thought he headed it towards goal. It turns out, I don't think his header was even on target, but it bounces off Watson and it flicks in to the top corner. So a little bit fortunate here for Killie to equalise, but I feel like they deserved to equalise because they were the better team. They then had more chances, more corners, more throw-ins. They seemed to do better from throw-ins than they did from corners, so maybe that's maybe that's the key. Instead of whipping the ball in, maybe they need to throw the ball in. Vassell once again rose up, got another header towards goal, and this time it clipped the outside of the post. Keeper was beat. He wasn't going to get to it. Kilmarnock also had a few free kicks, on the edge of the box in really good positions. Unfortunately, they couldn't really make any count. Danny Armstrong with the first one. And then it was Fraser Murray with basically the last kick of the game, his free kick. He managed to get it over the wall, but also, unfortunately, just over the bar. That was it. Should he have maybe played a pass in or whipped it in? I think so, because Cercle Bruges, they committed, I believe, 6 men to the wall and 1 guy underneath it. So they pretty much committed the majority of their team to the wall. Now, that meant Killie had more players in the box, but they also had a man on the left-hand side of the wall, and he timed his run pretty well. He timed the run with Fraser Murray's delivery of the shot. So you're just wondering, could Fraser Murray have played him in? He would have had a chance at goal, or he could have cut the ball back across goal to maybe get a Kilmarnock tap in. I mean, possibly, but look, Kilmarnock were 1-0 down, they pulled it back, they got the draw. Right now, it feels like Kilmarnock should have got more. It does, but at the 55th minute mark, when they went 1-0 down and weren't looking too good, you would have took a draw all night long. So a little bit disappointing that they didn't get the win late on, considering the chances they created. But if you look at the bigger picture here, fact is, Kilmarnock proved tonight they can compete with Cercle Bruges. They should have won, and they've given themselves a lifeline with the equaliser. And now they've got to go to Belgium and believe that if they can put in another performance like this, they've still got a chance of going through in this tie. And worst case scenario, if they don't, then they drop into the Conference League. But at least they didn't embarrass themselves. We've seen so many Scottish teams over the past years do that. But tonight, Kilmarnock didn't do it. They did their country proud. They did themselves proud. So I'm happy, guys. A draw for Kilmarnock. Some coefficient points for Scotland. Good stuff. Also, St Mirren, shout out to them. They were in Iceland. They got a draw 0-0 away from home against 10 men. Fallouz. I think they should have done a little bit better, to be honest. But again, it's hard to judge the quality of the Icelandic league. Plus, that Fallouz team did have some former English Premiership players in the team, including Gylfi Sigurdsson. So, yeah, look. Good night for Scottish football. We've had a lot of bad nights over the past decade. Tonight, with 2 teams in action, and we got 2 draws. So, small steps, but we didn't lose any games. I'll take that as a win. Hopefully next week we can finish the job and get St Mirren and Kilmarnock both into the next round, with both getting victories. So anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below. I've been Sun Scotland TV, and I am going to try my best to review as many Scottish games in Europe this season. So I'm not just going to review Hearts games, I'm going to review every game that I watch. So unfortunately, couldn't get a stream to watch St Mirren tonight anyway, but I did watch Killie, and I was impressed with what I seen. I was impressed. So yeah, shout out to Killie, played well, deserved the win, didn't get it, but they can still get it in the second leg, and that's what matters, guys, because they kept it tight tonight and they gave themselves a chance. I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.